Hello, boys, and how are you doing? Have you seen the post on LinkedIn? It's all about work-life balance, and it's a video of a football player who is a goalie, and he's in his goal and he's doing his thing, and then the striker's coming out and he's about to kick, and he kicks the ball, and so tragically the ball goes right into his face, the poor love. And sadly, he looks pretty injured and he's just lying there like that, looking a bit not well. Moral of the story, maybe he's overdoing it, and maybe his work-life balance was a bit more balanced towards the work thing without the life thing. Do you relate to that, boys? How is your work-life balance? Well, I would like to invite you to consider this. On the one hand, you have work-life balance. You've got work-life balance. And the thing about that is I assert that that is a problem-solving structure. Work-life balance, I assert, is a problem-solving structure, because imagine you've got a valley. You've got a valley, so you've got a hill here and a hill here. Let me see if I can demo this with my guitar tuner. Here you go. This is good. Right, guitar tuners, come on. Earn your keep. So you've got a valley here, and you've got work. This hill's called work, and this hill is called life. And then what you're trying to do is you're walking along this ridgeway here. You're walking along, and then you've got to jump over the hill to the other one, and you've got to do life, and you've got to get that in balance as well. And can you see what's obvious here? They're on two different ridgeways. They're two different hills, aren't they? They're two different entities. This, for the purposes of this illustration, that's work, and then that one's life. And you're either doing one or you're doing the other. And where is the path of least resistance? It's down the middle. So the path of least resistance, so where does, if this was actually a ridgeway, work's here, life's here, this is in principle what happens with that. Path of least resistance, the water comes, woo, and it goes running down the middle. What are you talking about, Maria? You and your funny explanations. Well, here's really important. This is really crucial. You're either doing one or you're either doing the other one. So how can you have a balance of both? See what I mean? Another thing is this. Do you ever find as well that I'm just going to get up and illustrate this? So you got work here. It's the same illustration. Work here. So you're doing work. Work. And then you've got life. You get home from work, you've got to do life. And you've got to do the kids, and you've got to wash, and you've got to cook, and you've got to eat. And then you've got to do the washing up. And then you've got to make sure you get some sleep. And then you've got to go to work and do it all over again. Work, life. Where's the balance? I don't know. Another way of explaining it. Are you getting the point here, guys? Are you with me? Yes or no? Here's another end of the stick. Supposing that's a stick. There's the problem. The problem is there's too much work and there's not enough balance. So here's my gorgeous pen. Do you love my pen? Right. The ink bit is work. Work is here. There's too much work. I'm imbalanced. I feel overburdened. Imagine that's a seesaw. These are principles of physics, people here. Pay attention. Work. Where's the balance? I get so overburdened with work because there's so much work to do, isn't there? Because there's more bills to pay now. So you've got to work harder, haven't you? Guys, yes or no? Pay attention. Work, super duper heavy. The football comes and twips you in the face. And then there's the problem. There's too much work. There's too many bills. There's the problem. The solution is try and get some balance. So all the really cool meditation people and all the really cool mindfulness people and all the really gorgeous yoga babes tell you to get some balance. Hey guys, Get some balance. No, I haven't had a drink. Get some balance. Where's the balance? It's 2 out of balance. So the balance looks a bit more like this. Right. So here is work, not very balanced. You may potentially be getting hit with a football or 10. And then here's life, or here's you just trying to do life and trying to have some sort of balance before you rinse and repeat and do it all over again tomorrow morning. However, for there to be a problem, here's the problem. There's too much work. There's too much weight here. And then to try and get some balance, well, that's another side of the same stick. How does the expression go? It's another side. It's the same. Okay, I'm dyslexic. I get muddled. Never mind. Please put in the comments what the actual expression is. For there to be, if the problem exists, the problem is the ink bit, too much work, too much to do. And you're trying to be in the balance bit, in the have a balanced life and have a good life when you're not doing work. Can you see what's happening here? The problem is always present, like it's always going to bite you in the bum. It's always there. It has to exist. And that has to exist. And what happens is it oscillates. It goes seesaw, seesaw. Some days are good. Some days are good. Some days are bad. Some days are good. Some days are bad. Now, this very fine and fabulous and theatrical explanation serves to show you the principle of an oscillating structure, which is an ineffective structure. Gentlemen, success is not personal, is structural. Success, that means getting the results that you want, is not personal to you, to anything you're doing right and wrong. Why? Because there's nothing wrong with you, and that you are not a project that needs to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with you. There is something ineffective about the structure that goes up and down and up and down. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't feel so good. Sometimes there's a lot of stress. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes you make money, sometimes you lose money, and so on, and rinse and repeat every single day. But you're always on that same season. Or now here, please pay attention. This is very, very important. That's one structure. And I call this seesaw structure a slippery structure, because you're at the effect of the amount of work that's going to come in. You're at the effect of what happens when you get home. You're at the effect of life. You're at the effect of what the government are doing. Seesaw, 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 blowing hot and cold. Instead, what you could do is be in a success structure. Instead, what's one of them? A success structure looks more like this. It just goes up. Imagine this is your sales chart. I really hope this is the right way around. It just goes up. Do, 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 do. A success structure is the opposite to that. It's not a structure that goes up and down like a seesaw. Imagine that a seesaw is made of wood. So with the same material as wood, instead you can make a wheel. I don't have a round thing to show you, but you can make a wheel from that same wood. So the same materials, the same pieces that make the structure, and you can make a wheel so that every time it goes round, you have more learning, you have more success, you have better implementation, you have more refined action plan, then you have more learning, then you have more wisdom, and round the wheel goes. What happens with that wheel is it starts to appreciate in its think tank, in its wisdom, and in its capability, in its productivity, in its motivation. And can you see that this wheel then starts to get bigger and bigger, more like a snowball? And then what happens with that advancing structure, which is a successful structure? Remember, success is not personal to you, it's to do with the environment that you're in. That advancing structure that appreciates every time it goes around, because every time you do your actions every day, you learn something. That becomes wisdom, that becomes efficiency, that becomes the next inspired action, that it becomes better productivity. And guess what? Here's the bit you all want to hear: more profit. Boom, boom. So Gentlemen, what do you want? Do you want up and down, up and down, up and down? Or do you want So how do you do that? I can hear you screaming through your phone at me. How do you do that? It's really easy. You get into a successful structure from a problem-solving structure into a successful structure by getting me to show you how you do it. That's how you do it. And what you do is you create your end result. And that's like pointing your arrow and choosing where you're going. And then you take the aligned action towards it every single day. Now, please know I'm giving you a very, very simplistic overview of this because this is very, very deep. It works on principles of physics, which suggests that whenever you've got two bits of land, the path of least resistance will always keep going down the same bit. Whenever you have a structure, whenever you have a framework, the path of least resistance, which represents the actions that you take every day and the results that you get, always going to go down the same pathway. And that's always going to be the oscillation. It's always going to be the seesaw because life is like that. Life goes up and down, but at the moment it seems to be going down, 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 down more than it goes up. Potentially we are approaching, or some people argue that we are in a recession. We're hitting another recession. So do you want to keep doing that? Or do you want to do that? Because unless you learn how to be in a successful structure, guys, please pay attention. Unless you know how to do that and how to implement that with your business results, but also with your life results, with your health, with your well-being, with your relationships, with your sporting performance, with your dreams, with where you live, with how you live. Unless you get into a successful structure with all these things, the default slippery structure will operate. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? Unless you get into a successful, upgoing structure, and this has been proven by science, when you're in a successful structure, it's so exciting. You want to tick off your to-do list. You get so inspired because your inspirations to do your inspired actions every day are better than you ever could have imagined before in problem solving, in putting out the fires structure, in spinning 100 plate structure. It's always going to do that or that. But in your successful structure, it's going to go up and up and up. So I leave you with that because I really, really care about you being in your successful upward momentum because it's so brilliant and it makes the very best of you. And then you really play and work in your creativity. You resource from your genius. Yes, you and your genius. You are a genius. You may not have discovered how to access that. You may not know how to work that muscle just yet, or you may be working it, or you may be working it sometimes, and at other times that life shizzle just happens again, doesn't it? Yes or no? If you want to get off the seesaw and get on the slide and go upwards, book a call with me and I'll show you how. Now, I'm not going to do this for you because I can't. I can show you how to do it so that then you learn and then you don't need me to show you anymore. And it's really easy. Principles of science, guys. Do you want this? Yes or no? Book a call with me. Also, go onto YouTube and search Powerful Respected Men. Go onto YouTube and search Powerful Respected Men. That's my YouTube channel with all of these videos on. Start from the first one, go to videos, start from the bottom and work your way up. You're going to have an onboarding process of all of this. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or any social media, please, if it's valuable, like, share and comment. Thank you. See you tomorrow.